Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Lights Out with Ish and Eve. I'm Ish and this is Eve, and I hope you're all enjoying your summer breaks. So obviously while there's no races going on, we thought we would take this opportunity to look ahead to 2026 and chat about some of the regulations that have obviously been announced a little while ago. I know it was a little while ago, but...
Better late than never.
Yeah, and like we never podcasted, so we gotta talk about it now.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that, maybe some of the drivers that are out of contracts, and just skipping ahead a year and just looking well into the future.
Yeah. It feels like so long ago. Far away.
Yeah.
Long away. But it's going to come around super quick and it's going to be super interesting as well. Quick disclaimer. We're not engineers.
Yeah, we don't know.
So we've done our best to educate ourselves on these regulations and what they mean and how things are going to change.
Yeah.
But from a fan perspective and someone who's not a literal engineer or an aerodynamicist.
Don't come for us.
Yeah. There's only so much that we can understand. So if you want to be helpful, constructive, like be like, this is what this is actually.
Please comment if we get something wrong. Be nice about it.
But don't be like, you're an idiot, Drive to Survive fan, because you're wrong and you're ugly. So let's go.
All right.
Are you going to cut that out?
No, I'll leave it in.
Okay, good. Because
I do cut some of your stuff out.
I know. Sometimes it's valid, but sometimes I'm like, they need to know.
Fair.
No, that's fine.
All right. So should we go through maybe like just the headlines of
the changes.
The changes.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess first things first, one of the big announcements was that the minimum weight of the car is going to be 30 kilograms lighter.
Yes.
Which obviously is hoping to make the cars more agile.
Like their whole concept
Yeah.
around the new car is like a nimble car.
Yes.
Which I think is a really weird word to use for it.
It is.
It makes me think of a rabbit. Like, I don't know if that's just me, but
I think that's that company, Nimble.
Oh my god, it is! No, but like, oh my god, it is! Just nimble it. It's an
marketing.
Ad. I've been marketed. That's the whole thing. And a lot of it is to accentuate the driver skill.
Yes.
And have it like a more even field. But the caveat of that is like, every time there's new regulations, there's always people who get it more correct. Mm-hmm. And like, we'll get there. But with the power unit and the engine, with all of these changes,
yes,
there are some teams which are going to nail it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some teams which are going to take a little while to figure it out. But it seems like with the actual car being less of a thing, like the actual car is kind of, I don't want to say going backwards.
Yeah,
but like,
I think a lot of people compared it to like an F2 car.
Yeah.
Like it's almost taking a step back towards like a spec series where the cars are going to be very similar.
And that's obviously a good thing to like accentuate the driver, but it's kind of, they've replaced that with such different engine specifications that it's probably going to lean to like whoever gets the engine piece right.
Yes.
And therefore their customer teams as well.
Yes.
Say if it's like a Mercedes, then like McLaren will do well.
Yes. Or Williams with Carlos Sainz.
Oh my god, true. But yeah, so they're going to be 30 kilos lighter, 10 centimeters narrower. It's this much.
Yeah, because the whole thing is like, there's so many tracks now where the cars are so big, it's so hard to overtake. Cutting it down by 10 centimeters isn't going to change that.
No.
So I don't think that's really doing anything.
I know. But the wheelbase is also being reduced by 20 centimeters. So like
Yes.
I don't know what wheelbase is, but it seems to be like, it's something to do with the length.
Yeah.
They're also...
I think just on the weight thing as well.
Yes.
I think the reason and I think the talk about this has maybe died down since it was first announced, but the whole like safety thing came from people being like, okay, well, where's the 30 kilos going to come from? And like, if you make parts less sturdy or you make them, then potentially if there's a crash, like a driver's not going to be as protected.
Yeah, like I did see as well, they have updated safety features though.
Yes.
Like they've updated the side intrusion things and also the front impact things.
So they've
I
probably
say
like
things because I don't
counted it.
fucking know what they are. But like, yeah, I'm hoping that
they've like
that's-
counted that with like making other things better.
Yeah, they're updating side intrusion as well as front impact.
Yes.
So I don't know what that's going to look like, what that means, but
Yeah. So I think like that's the whole thing is no one really knows what these cars are going to look like because, or not look like, but just how it's all going to come together and like perform. Because there's been a lot of criticism and like we'll talk about it of like these new regs. But yeah, there's a lot of unknowns still.
From what I've heard, every time when there's new regs.
Totally.
People are like, it's going to be shit. And then you get used to it.
Totally.
And then it like, you know, it moves on.
Yeah.
So whatever happens,
they'll work it out.
it's going to be fine.
People much smarter than us are working it out.
Literally. I'm like,
the things with the
things
the
with
sides,
the thing and the front wing and it's going to
front.
Yeah. It can't be worse than the Sauber engineers. That's a joke.
Whoa.
It's a joke.
All right. Next thing.
Yes.
So, like you said, the power system is going to be very different. So, I think from what I've read, it's going to be much more evenly split between like the engine power and battery power.
Yes. Which at the moment it's tilted towards engine power by quite a lot.
Yeah, I think it's like 70 or 80%, whereas like battery is more like 20 to 30. I think this is going to be much more like 50-50.
50-50, yeah. So it's almost 300% more battery power.
Yeah, wow.
Than it is currently.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I guess that makes it more like 20% currently, and it's going closer towards...
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways. They're also like on the whole engine and battery power, so they're like switching to 100% sustainable fuels, I think, across the board.
Yes.
Which is obviously like in line with their net zero
by 2030.
Yeah, plan.
Yeah.
Which I just think is like so funny because you've got all these drivers flying around the world in private jets.
Fix your calendar.
Yeah, fix your calendar. Honestly. But like
the calendar's
Ridiculous.
ridiculous.
I know.
Anyway. With that and that power system, I guess it's a good segue into one of our new overtaking tools that we're going to have, which is manual override mode.
Yeah.
MOM.
Mom.
I am so excited because DRS is no longer really
It's not a thing. Yeah.
Well, it's still kind of a thing, but it's not called DRS.
No.
So out goes explain DRS.
Yeah, it'll be explain mom.
Your mother! I'm so excited! Like, this opens up a whole new world of possibilities of your mum jokes.
Oh my god, so true.
And like, we're Australian, we don't spell mum like that, but I'm happy to stoop to that level for this purpose. I haven't even seen anyone talking about the your mum jokes possibility, but I can't be the first one that's sort of that.
Yeah.
There's no way.
That is funny.
Like, I'm so excited for that. Anyway.
I thought it was manual override system, so I thought it was MOS.
MOM.
Fair.
I think.
It's going to be MOM from now on.
Well, I'm going to look like a right fool if it's not. But granting more electrical power deployment for the following car, which is similar to push to pass in IndyCar.
Yes.
Which I don't watch, but I looked it up and it's like basically the same thing. So
yes,
they've got different active aero systems. So currently only the back wing is an active aero system with the DRS that opens. Basically, that's staying as an active aero system, but the front wing is also going to have active aero system. So basically, the standard mode that the car is in is Z mode, which is going to be really annoying with Americans being like Z mode. Yeah, Z. And that's like your normal high downforce, lower speed. Yeah. Way of moving the car. Mode.
We're so technical.
And then your rear active aero system, like cars will switch to X mode, which is basically like DRS.
So you're that X Games.
I know, it's so good.
It just plays in my head every time.
Yeah, so that's basically low drag, maximize straight line speed. So with the combination of those two things, I don't really know how that's going to work in terms of, can all cars always switch between the modes if they're on a straight, and then a following car will be similar to DRS where coming up behind the car in front you'll get MOM, you'll get MOM with the extra power
from the battery
rather than, but then the car in front of you will also have DRS.
Yes.
X Games mode.
X Games
You'll
mode.
both be on X Games mode.
Yeah. So I think the theory is that like the active aero isn't gonna, because I think everyone can do it, and I don't know if they can do it at any time, but I think there'll be certain checkpoints similar to how there's like DRS detection zones.
Yeah.
I think there'll be similar like
zones
that you can use your active aero.
You'd think it would be kind of similar to the DRS zones.
Yeah, but then
everyone can
for the MARM, you have to be, or the MOS, depending on what it is, you have to be within a second to deploy your like extra 30% battery power or whatever to give you that extra boost.
Because the thinking was they want to stop the overtakes on the straights because of DRS just be like a fucking slam dunk every single time. Like, so they just get driven past on the straight. Yeah. Because obviously you defend your weaving and that's a penalty. Like, there's nothing you can do. But I'm like, you're just replacing it with something else.
But yeah, and it's also like you're making the cars so much faster in the straights too. So like, but I guess every car gets to be faster in the straights.
I think what the thinking was, what I heard, like Matt and Tommy were talking about, they were saying like, you might see more overtakes like into the corners rather than on the straights because you've got more power. So you see more power into the corners. Yeah. And then
more
that
downforce too to like,
So that then shows like more of the driver skill to like, you know, pick the right braking point and like actually overtake the other car. Yeah. Which if it does come off like that, great. Basically, I've got a little technical piece.
Go for it.
About your mom.
I really hope it's MARM and not MOS.
I need to look this up so I don't make myself look like an absolute fool this whole episode.
Oh no, this one says manual override mode. Manual override mode.
Yeah, so that's what I was reading.
On the F1 website, it says manual override system. That's what I was reading.
I'm looking at the FIA.
Well, the FIA literally never know what they're talking about.
I mean, true.
What a drive-by. Anyway.
I mean, I don't care. In my head, it's manual override mode.
The New York Times called it manual override mode.
Manual override mode.
Manual override mode. Anyways, so speaking about your mum. Ange. Shout out.
Shout out to Ange. While the deployment of a leading car will taper off after hitting 290 kilometers an hour. So that's like basically on the normal mode without it. That's like your max kind of speed.
Okay.
Will taper off. So it's not your max speed. So like once your car hits that, then your battery will taper off after that. Like it won't give you more battery power after that speed is how I interpret this. Reaching 0 at 355 kilometers an hour. So it tapers off.
Right.
So once you hit that, your battery stops deploying energy.
Yeah.
And then it tapers off. So then once your battery's back at like 0, you're at 355 kilometers an hour. Yeah, and you don't have any more battery to deploy.
Does that mean your engine power kicks in more at that point? Interesting.
I don't know. But the following car will have the MARM. I was going to sound really smart, but I don't know what it means. I'll read it out. So then maybe people might understand.
Yeah.
While the deployment of a leading car will taper off after 290 kilometers per hour, reaching 0 at 355, the following car will benefit from manual override system. Manual override mode, providing 350 kW up to 337 kilometers per hour and plus 0.5 megajoules of extra energy.
Okay, so basically, the car in front is gonna, the battery is gonna drop off once it hits that speed.
Yeah.
And so it's probably
gonna
like...
They can still go faster.
They can still go faster, but it's probably gonna like take longer to get up like beyond that speed.
Yeah.
The car behind them is going to have an advantage and it's going to help them overtake because mum will kick in and they'll get that speed boost.
Yeah.
So it is very much like DRS.
Yeah. Like, I understand, I just don't know what the fuck that means. I thought it was going to be like, and this one will stop at this kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
But it didn't say that, and
so,
now I look like a fool. But I understand the concept.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. I mean, I hope that it does kind of, like, it doesn't just replace DRS.
Yes, me too.
It kind of could.
Yeah, it does sound a bit like it.
Maybe both cars will have their rear wing open, but, like, if you're giving the one behind extra speed, like, what's the difference?
Yeah. I also wonder if, like, it will actually be easier to overtake in the in the corners, or, like, is it going to have the same DRS? Because, like, the DRS detection zones are generally, like, right before a straight. So, like, if you can't use it until a DRS detection zone or a MARM detection zone or whatever they're going to rename it to, like, is it just going to inevitably have the same effect anyways?
Yeah.
Like, what happens with the detection zones? That's
I
what I want to know.
I haven't been able to see, I haven't seen anything about, like, how
I think
it's
these rules are
up.
evolving too.
Yeah,
like, nothing's, like, fully set in stone, I don't think. But anyways, I feel like those are the main things
that have been released at this point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were like the first set that got released, and there was like a little graphic of what the car's going to look like, which is where people were saying it looks like an F2 car.
It does, because it's got that little, like, floor bit at the bottom and just the, like, the way that it curves, and it looks very F2.
Yeah.
So teams can't start actively working on their 2026 cars until January 1st next year.
Yeah.
I always think that's interesting because it's like there's nothing stopping, obviously, teams from talking about it, from, like, you know, like, water cooler conversations, and, like, I'm sure every engineer that works, you know,
has already started thinking about it.
Yeah,
100%.
exactly. I think I was listening to a podcast, I think it was like Bernie Collins maybe was talking about it. Me too. I'm obsessed with her. She's so cool.
She's my fave.
And she was talking about how, like, I think each team has, like, delegates of engineers that are essentially, like, consulting with the FIA to, like, help them make
understand
the rules and, like, put it all kind of together. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are, like, on the ground, like, working with the data every day. So,
like creating it too. Like, they have to build a whole car with those list
of rules. Yeah. So, like, it's good that obviously they're consulting with the teams, and, like, naturally they would. So I think there are certain people in each team probably that are starting to actually actively work on it, but the teams themselves can't work on it until 1st of January. Yeah. But
that's when this one person from every team comes in and is like, right, here are the blueprints.
The plan. Yeah. For real.
And they can start, like, actually building it, you know?
Should we talk about, I guess, some of the, like, comments and thoughts and, like, people's criticisms and things of the regulation so far? So I think the big one has been people thinking that the car is just going to be too slow. Yeah. I think that's been the number one.
Yeah.
Bit of criticism. I think they were saying it's maybe going to be, like, almost too fast on the straights, but then, like, really slow around the corners.
Weird.
Which is weird.
Because they've got the normal mode is giving them more downforce on the corners, so
I don't know.
But
I think, anyway.
I think it's just going to be slower in general.
Yeah. So, like, I think it was James Vowles got interviewed, and he was saying that, like, when they put the, you know, rules into their simulator that they've been given so far, the lap times were, like, 10 seconds a lap.
Yeah, I heard that Max Verstappen was complaining about.
Yeah, I think all the drivers have been complaining of, like, various levels of complaining.
Yeah.
As
like,
per their personalities. But, like, there have been a lot of drivers that have, like, made comments of, like, I don't know.
It's going to be really slow. But, like, yes, I guess, like, it's F1 and, like, the whole point is to be fast.
Yeah.
But if everyone's a little bit slower and it makes everything better, like, it makes the racing better, more interesting, like, more competitive, like, actually showcases a driver's skill rather than, like, how good their car is, a la Red Bull recently.
Yeah.
Last year. Then I think that's good.
Totally. And that's the thing, like, the very large majority of viewers are watching it on a screen at home.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to tell the difference if a lap is a few seconds slower than what it was
like
the
I
previous
get for the
year.
drivers, like they're adrenaline junkies, they want to go fast.
Yes.
Like baby's still flying at 350 k's an hour.
Yeah,
like the
gonna
lap
be
time's
okay.
gonna be a little slower, but
I know. So I think like recently Toto Wolff got interviewed and was basically just like, I trust my engineers, like they'll figure it
Yeah.
out. Like there are people much smarter than me that are gonna work like the problem out. So
Yeah.
like it will be fine
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
and like that's a thing. People can say all they want, but it's happening.
Yeah.
They're still obviously like ironing out some of the finer details,
Yeah.
and like there's a lot more that hasn't been released obviously to the public. Like it's all still very much happening, and like it'll happen.
Yeah.
People will get used to it,
Yeah.
and that will just become the new norm.
Totally. And
And,
I
like-
think where a lot of people's like feelings about it come from is because the racing has just gotten so good this
Yeah,
year, and it's
yeah.
like
It's like, do we need to change all of that actually?
I know.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, that's just what it is. Like that's part of the sport. You like get a certain number of years with these regs, and like at the start of those regs, like some teams get it right, some teams get it wrong, and then there's slowly this convergence as
Yeah.
everyone works it out.
Yeah.
And the like law of diminishing returns kicks in for the teams that are nailing it, and
Yeah.
the other teams sort it out.
Yeah.
And
That's
by the end of
happening
it, you
now,
get
yeah.
this great racing.
So hopefully next year is a banger.
Oh yeah,
I mean, this year's already turning into an absolute
absolutely.
cracking season.
If you'd said like in Bahrain that we were gonna have the season that we've had, I would have been like,
Save that for the episode we're
I
about
would have
to
said, "Are
film.
you a Drive to Survive fan?"
Save that.
Yes.
Save that.
We have another podcast.
Well, the other one's gonna come out before this one.
True.
We're pre-filming because I'm going away.
Yeah.
So, if there's like summer break drama that's happened that we're not discussing, it's because
now.
it's pre-filmed.
Yes.
so it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. But go check out our TikTok because we'll probably be talking about it there.
Marketing.
She's a marketing girl.
We are marketing girls, not engineers. Okay. Okay.
Doing your best. Anyway, do you have anything else to talk about regarding the
Not
regs?
really. I'll probably just make a fool of myself.
Same.
I'm already just waiting. I'm like,
like, I've added myself as not an engineer, not a mathematician, not a science person. We both work in marketing. Anyway. So I guess that wraps up like the cars side of 2026. So I had a look into which drivers are out of contracts
yes.
for 2026. So I thought that might also be interesting just to like have a bit of a
Yeah,
conversation.
I don't
about.
know.
I think you can assume anyone that said multi-year deal
2 year.
is, they're going to be in there until at least the end of 2026. So obviously Max is contracted until like the end of 28.
Yeah.
Perez has got a 1+1, but if he is in a car next year, I'll be surprised. I'm surprised he's in a car till the end of this year, but anyway.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
In our old episode.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Ferrari, Charles has sold his soul to Ferrari, so he'll be there until he's 107. And Lewis has a multi-year deal, which hasn't, I think, been like defined, but he'll be there until at least the end of 2026.
Yeah.
McLaren are both locked in until the end of 26. They were both previously signed until the end of 25, and then
Extended
they signed
1 year.
extensions. Yeah.
So in 26, we would potentially have them, but like obviously this is not for the start of 26. In 26,
Yes.
they would both be looking to
potentially
get new contracts, as would Lewis.
I don't know about Lando. I don't know if Lando's extends beyond 26, but I think Oscar's
Is to 26.
might be until the end of 26. I don't see why. At
Mans
this point,
is gonna
I
be
don't
hot property.
Yeah, for real. But I also don't
Horrifying.
see
I
any
can't-
like.
I'm so stressed about that. I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
They'll really have to get it right in 2026 to hold on to
Hold
both
on
of
to
them.
both of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like Lando's got the loyalty piece,
for sure.
but like if it's not good,
Yeah,
he's gonna pull a Lewis.
totally.
I mean, he hasn't won 7 world. If Lewis can leave Mercedes after winning 7 world
Yeah.
championships and being 39 years old,
Lando
anyone
can
can
go
leave
anywhere.
anywhere.
Absolutely. So Mercedes, obviously we don't know who's going to have the second seat, probably Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah.
But George is signed till the end of 2025, but
Gotcha.
he's,
I can't see George going anywhere
me either.
at this point in time.
No, especially if they bring Kimi on because they'll want an experienced driver.
And the fact that Mercedes have gotten their shit together,
Yes.
they'll probably be able to instill confidence in George to stick with them in new regs.
No, definitely. So, and I think Mercedes are actually like predicted to be good with the engine and anyway.
Yeah.
So Aston, obviously, both
Yeah.
are fine.
Lance is there until Lawrence leaves.
Yeah, honestly.
Not a second before.
For real. Pierre, from Alpine, Pierre's signed off till the end of 26 and whoever ends up joining, we'll see, will probably also be. For Williams, both Alex and Carlos are signed off till the end of 26.
So who the fuck's out of contract next year?
So that's the thing. So RB.
Yuki.
But,
Yuki signed a 1 year, right?
Yeah. So Yuki's going to be out of a contract at the end of next year. And Danny Rick, I mean, who even knows?
I think, like, how long is Yuki going to sit in RB for?
I know.
Like,
but I think he's also aware that, like, he's not going to Red Bull. For whatever reason, they just don't want to take him.
Yeah.
So it's either, I think, if you want to stay within the Red Bull family, you're going to be stuck at RB, or you got to
somewhere else. Yeah. But that's what I mean. I'm like, how long is he going to sit in RB for? Because RB is never going to be, well, never say never, but like a top team.
Yeah.
Like they're essentially a junior team.
Yeah.
Like obviously at the moment they're not really functioning as a junior team.
No.
But that's like they're a secondary team. They're not, you're not going to be fighting for wins.
No.
Consistently.
No.
Obviously Pierre Gasly won a race in an AlphaTauri, but like
it's very unlikely.
Yeah, that you'd be in the position to fight for a world championship in an RB.
Absolutely.
So like how long is he going to sit there?
Yeah. I think I have this right. Aston, I think at some point is moving their engine supplier to be with Honda.
Yeah.
And so I think
he could go to Aston.
Potentially he could go to Aston if a seat becomes available there.
Also, Fernando did say that this 2-year deal he signed is probably going to be his last.
Yeah.
I mean, he's retired before.
Yeah.
But, like,
he could, so maybe he
oh
might
my
step
God,
into
imagine
Aston.
Yuki versus Lance Stroll. I'd love that. That would be...
It would be
firecrackers.
entertaining.
That would be phenomenal.
So that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Haas, Esty Bestie, signed off. Ollie Behrman signed off.
Yeah, well, multi-year.
Yeah.
Just tell me. What is multi-year? Like,
and then Nico is signed off with Audi, and then it's just about who's going to fill that other Audi seat.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Yes. I think, like, 2026, by the sound of things, like, there won't be chaos to find the seats for 2026. It's going to be kind of the same as this year because everyone's signing multi-year deals.
Yeah, like 2025. Yeah, because I think as well, no one wants to bring in a new driver when there's also new regs.
Yeah. So
like give them a year to, which is why I think a lot of newbies are coming in next year.
Yeah.
Ollie Behrman, probably Kimi,
potentially.
potentially Jack, to give them that year. Yeah, come on, Aussie. To like give them the year to
settle
work
into the
it
whole
out.
F1
Yeah, and
thing.
then they get 2026 to hit the ground running. But
also, as we said, we're pre-filming this, so if we're saying potentially this person and potentially that person, and then by the time this comes out, they've either signed or someone else has signed, that's why.
Yeah. So...
We're not living under a rock.
Yeah.
Like, we know.
Internet does reach us here in Australia. So yeah, I think 2026 is shaping up to be pretty cool. I don't know that it'll be as great as what probably next year will be.
Yeah.
Because I expect next year to be an absolute banger.
Yes.
But it will be interesting to see how all the drivers go and which teams get it right and which teams don't.
I'm very excited to see. Like,
Ferrari, please. Please.
I have heard that they're expected to do well.
I think like any team that makes their own engine is expected to perform well because
they can create the car around the engine. They're not just like
Exactly.
given the engine and then have to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, I think that kind of wraps up this episode.
Thanks for watching / listening. If you are listening, make sure to give us a review if you enjoyed it. And if you're watching on YouTube, like and do subscribe as well and let us know what you think 2026 is going to be like because obviously we're still learning. We're discussing what we think is going to happen, but no one really knows. So I would Bro. Bro's eating George Russell. Bro's snacking on George's arm.
Amy's rabbit just like ate George Russell. We
need to give context.
Yeah.
Because
for anyone that doesn't watch us on TikTok.
we have a TikTok series where we grade the grid after every race. And it looks like this. So this was on the floor and the rabbit was snacking on George.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, we had to give context because that would have been insane if we didn't fucking say. Anyways.
So yeah. Like and subscribe.
Leave a comment. We'd love to discuss what you think of all of the regulations and if you've interpreted it differently to us, because we're well aware that our interpretations could be incorrect. Mm-hmm. So let us know what you think nicely. And we'll see you probably for the Zandvoort.
Yeah.
Probably. I think so.
By the time, when this comes out.
Summer break should be almost over. Thank God.
Finally.
And yeah, our next episode, we're not going to be sitting in the same room. So
yeah.
we'll figure it out.
Be shaking it up.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. Thanks for watching.